Hey guys, welcome back to Poppaprepper. Tommy here. Hope you guys are having a blessed Tuesday. Got 3 more to go, guys. Before I go any further, I would like to ask if everybody could say a little prayer for Mrs. Poppaprepper. She is feeling a little under the weather. It's not Rona, but she just don't feel very good. So if you guys could just say a little prayer for her, I'd appreciate it. Got some pretty big things coming up here in the next couple weeks. Tuesday, March 16th, I will be live over at the Angry Prepper at 9 p.m. That's got me a little nervous. That's by far the most people that I will have ever been live in front of. So I have to, hopefully all you guys will be there. That one's got me a little nervous. But and then I've got working out some things with Arkansas Living. We want to do some collaborating together, and 6-shooter prepping and homesteading, I think it's the complete name of his channel. I believe he might be here this Sunday for Prep Your Soul. I've been really checking out his stuff. Really good, very good Christian young man. He's seems to have his head on straight, and I think he's going to have a very good channel. Well, he's already got a very good channel, but I think it's going to grow leaps and bounds. Oh, and I was looking, it reminded me. I've got some questions about this shirt, because you can only see so much of it. It says "No soul left untold." So a lot of the videos and pictures you can only see it says "no soul," so I was getting a little bit of negative flack for that. But it's "no soul left untold," meaning witnessing the Lord to as many people as you can. Something we all need to be doing. Like I was actually watching the 6-shooter video today. He said, you don't need to go beat people over the head with it, but if you see an opportunity, it's not going to hurt to tell them about the Word of God. And if you guys have never checked out SoulCon, it is a Christian community. It is ran by veterans, for veterans, basically. I mean, it's for anybody, but they really show a lot of support for our men and women of the service. And my best friend is a disabled American veteran, and he gave me this shirt for my birthday. And I mean, it's really cool. It's from SoulCon, March 16-15, and that's their logo there. And down the back of the shirt it says "No soul left untold," or "No soul left behind." I think "No soul left behind." But anyway, guys, today I'm riding completely blind. I have no notes, no nothing, so I'm just gonna be rattling off the top of my head. I want to talk some about the aftermath, of SHTF. Complete grid down. Economic collapse. There's no, running to Home Depot, or for a lot of you folks, for most of us folks, that won't have a way to recharge, drills and stuff like that. There's a lot of things you're gonna need to be able to build and maintain and repair. You're gonna need your basic, well, not just basic, really. You're gonna need a good arsenal of non-power tools. From anything to, simply fixing a door hinge to, possibly having to build a enclosure for, if you have farm animals and chickens and goats, and, they're going to keep on reproducing. You're going to run out of room, so you're going to need some tools, and possibly, hopefully a means to be able to build, whether it's going out and, if you have to cut your own lumber, which honestly is not really going to be much of an option for the biggest percent of us. But, if you're homesteading and you have the land and the acreage and, it's possible you're going to have to, cut down make your own lumber. And, I mean, there's definitely, it's limitless of what you could actually want to prep tool-wise. Clearly if you're bugging out, that list is going to be very restricted, because clearly you're not going to be able to take, hacksaws, all different kinds of hand saws and hand tools, and, you're not going to be able to carry all that. It's impossible. Okay. But, bugging out, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you have a small but very versatile supply of nails, screws, different sizes and variations of screwdrivers, at least a hammer of some sort, which if you have a hatchet, which is another tool you're going to want, it's going to be a necessity. You can use the back of that to hammer with, but you're going to end up breaking every finger on your hand eventually. So I would definitely recommend, having some kind of hammer. A basic socket set would be a good thing to have. Like I said, guys, I'm riding blind here. There's some things, I'm getting sidetracked here, but, you don't have to take notes. You don't have to spend hours on the internet, researching, and I do that a lot for my videos. And sometimes, like today, I was just stopping and thinking, like, all right, I get home, I'm going to have to jump online. I'm going to have to do this. I got to get some notes. And then I just stopped. And it's like, it's tools, man. Use your head, There's a lot of things let's see, how do I put this? When it comes to grid down, or SHTF, if you don't have common sense going into that situation, that in itself is going to limit your ability to do a lot of things. Like, okay, just stop and ask yourself, okay, now, if grid went down, we have no power, what am I still going to need if I was to break, whatever around the house? Say your door falls off its hinges. Right off the bat, most people would know you're going to need some screws and some screwdrivers. And, it's just, a lot of it is going to be common sense, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And there's a lot of folks that just, they're smart as a tack. They can, they can sit down and teach you the complete history of America, or they can show you how to do the most complicated math problem you've ever seen in your life. But if you ask them, some basic, carpentry question or DIY question, they're not going to have a clue. First thing they'll do is going to whip out their phone and ask Siri or ask Google, or what's the Google guy, Bixby, and that's not going to be an option. So a lot of this stuff, just as much as having the right tools, is you're going to want to, you're going to want to know how to use them tools. Now that sounds kind of silly to a lot of us, like a screwdriver or a ratchet, or, like, how would you not know how to do that? Well, a lot of folks never have had to, either A, they've either lived a very fortunate life and have never had anything break on them, or B, they still live a very fortunate life and always had money to pay somebody to come and do it for them. And that's not always going to be the case. Well, it's definitely not going to be the case, in SHTF. So there are a lot of tools. I'm kind of rambling and starting to get sidetracked, but there are a lot of tools that you're going to want, especially if you're, homestead. Which if you're already homesteading, you know what you need. You've already got it. There are things you could stock up on, but again, if you're an established homesteader, you already know that. So I'm not even trying to disrespect you guys with trying to tell you what you need, because you know. But say you're bugging in, you can't leave your home, or you just downright refuse, you ain't giving it up, you're going to want to make sure that you have, like I said before, a good screwdriver set. And the tools I would definitely not really skimp on. And I'm not saying you'll break the bank, run up your credit cards, nothing like that. But I'm saying if you can only afford one set of items at a time, do that. As opposed to trying to run out and buy, all Craftsman, everything at one time. Or all Snap-on. Don't don't even think you're going to stock up on Snap-on, because very few people can afford that. Don't get me wrong, Snap-on tools are amazing. But the kind of tools I'm talking about kind of venture off away. That's mechanical tools, which you will want, a good set of standard and metric sockets, ratchets. You're going to want a 3/8 inch drive, a 1/2 inch drive, 3/4 inch, or a 5/8 inch drive. You're going to want a good complete socket set. You're going to want a good complete screwdriver set. And, to an extent, you could say a screwdriver to screwdriver or whatever, but that's not the case. Because screwdrivers, if they're cheap, and you take like a Phillips or a straight edge, and you have a tight screw, the first thing that's going to happen, actually, the cheap ones rarely even fit the screw head correctly. So if it's tight, or stuck, you're either going to strip that screw out, or the tip of your screwdriver is just going to start to chip away, break off, and you're still going to be stuck with a screw that's still stuck. Anyway, don't skimp too lightly on the tools, guys. And this will be one of those videos, I'm sure there's going to be things I forget. And please add anything you can think of to this list in the comments, because like I said, this list could be limitless, but you're going to want screws and nails, definitely. If you're bugging in, you stockpile as much as that kind of stuff as you can, and stuff like that. Hardware, not so much like big bolts and nuts. If you can get like a small variety, that would be okay. But really, there's nothing around your home that's going to break so much that you need something of that size, to repair it with. Most things around the house, even outside, like I was saying, even if you're having to build a chicken coop or a goat pen or, whatever, screws and nails are going to suffice. It's not like you're trying to hold back bulls or something. You might be. Who knows? But for the most, typical rural area, whatever, suburban, if you're in an apartment stuck or whatever, assortment of screws and nails are going to do just fine. But you are going to want a good supply, a good stockpile of that stuff. And, depending on the situation, you could possibly use some of it as barter items as well. And I would want an assortment of each, like you don't want, 20 pounds of 3.5 inch hex head screws. That's, because eventually the hex head's going to wear out and then you're going to be stuck with a bunch of screws. But no, seriously. You're going to want a different assortment, of Phillips, straight edge, some torque heads, stuff like that. And obviously the drivers, the screwdrivers or bits that go with that. Um, Assortment of nails. I would definitely want some like, little finishing paneling nails. All the way up to like the sixpenny nails. Stuff that you can really, build with. A good hammer. You definitely don't want to skip on a good hammer. Um, I personally would suggest no lighter than like an 18 ounce. You want to keep it between like an 18 and probably 22 ounce hammer. That's a really good, solid, carpentry hammer. Um, but that's going to be based on the individual. A guy like me can hammer all day with that. But, if you're like a petite 22-year-old little smaller framed woman, you're going to be exhausted swinging mine went blank. 18 to 22 ounce hammer all day. I'm not saying you can't, so don't give me no hate. I'm just saying it's going to be exhausting on anybody. But you know what I'm saying. Saws. You're going to want a variety of saws. Everything from hacksaws to crosscut saw. Just a straight saw. Just a variety of saws and blades. Or a very good means of sharpening those blades, like a really good file set. Anybody will tell you this. If there's any kind of cutting device, there is 98% guarantee there's a way to sharpen it. Okay. They don't like you to do that because then their sales on new blades goes down. But you can sharpen pretty much any kind of blade. And just put in the work, put in the research. Definitely a skill you'd want to learn. Anything from your pocket knife, your EDC, your whatever kind of knives you're using, your culinary knives, your hatchet, your axe, all that stuff. You're going to want to know how to sharpen that stuff. Let me see. Let me think, guys. Oh, and along with the sockets and ratchets, you're going to want a good set of standard and metric wrenches. And again, I say, this is for, basically, majority of these are going to be for bugging in. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff you're not going to be able to carry with you, especially if you're on foot. Now, if you're, bugging out and you have every intention of, taking your vehicle, that's my circumstance. If we can't bug out without taking my vehicle, we're going to ride it out right here. And of course, I've said many times, that's our intentions anyway. Unless, somebody has set our house on fire or something like that, then of course we're gonna bug out. But if we can't get out of here with a vehicle, we're gonna ride it out right here. Now, like I said, if the house is on fire, yes, we're gonna run on foot. But the problem with that being is where we live, depending on how many people's trying to get to us, it's a long way to the tree line from our door. So if there's too many for me to handle, then, it's just a bad situation. I prefer not to even think about that. But anyway, if you're bugging out, you have a bug out vehicle, by all means, stock it to the brim with any tools you can think of, any tools you can fit. Make sure you can get your necessities in there as well. Your other necessities, your food, your water, stuff like that. Stuff you need to survive, absolutely survive. But any extra room, I would pack it with tools. That's just one thing I think that everybody's going to need and not a lot of people are going to have access to. But back to bugging in, any kind of saws you can think of. And I'm sure you can look online. Don't just, listen to me sitting here rambling. Definitely, I'm sure there's probably bug in tool lists if you look. But, a lot of the things that I've said, I'm almost positive will be on there. A good splitting maul, for firewood, and a regular axe, stuff like that you're definitely going to want. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to invest in some spare handles. Now, I've said before, like WD-40 on your wooden handles, that will prolong the life of that handle considerably. It'll keep it from splintering, and it basically repels water, almost makes it waterproof in a sense. But even that's only going to last so long. What else is there? Buckets. Buckets are going to be a good thing to have for various reasons. You can use your imagination for that one. Shovels, rakes, your basic, outdoor maintenance type tools will definitely be a plus. Now, when it comes to like lawnmowers and such, gas only has typically a 6-month shelf life, and there really is no absolute safe way to store a bunch of gas unless you actually have, a gas tank, like the farm gas tanks. And even that, the life's not going to be very long on it. And, I mean, me personally, if it's SHTF, I'm really not going to be too concerned about mowing my grass because most of it will probably be plants. Like, vegetables and food or animals. I mean, that's the route, that's the direction we're trying to head here, is basically taking our little piece of this earth and making it into a micro homestead. That's our intentions, okay? Up here, it all sounds good. And I know it's going to be a lot of work, but I think we'll do it. I think we're going to make it. But, back to the tools. Like I said at the beginning, guys, basically, if you just sit and ask yourself, if I had no means to electricity, but I still had to sustain myself and my family, and I can't hire anybody to do it, what am I going to need? Because this is like a lot of other prepping things, Nobody knows you better than you. Nobody knows your intentions more than you. I mean, are you just about, relying on your preps and that's it? Which I don't suggest, because it don't matter if you're sitting on 6 years of food. That's going to run out. What about the 7th year? Because by then, any kind of yard or farmable land that you've had access to is probably going to be so overgrown, and I mean, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. I mean, I'm not saying you can't, but it's going to be a lot more added back-breaking work, So yeah, you're definitely going to want gardening tools, yard tools. Maintain stuff as best as you can. It's going to be impossible to have the beautiful landscaped lawn that you have now. That's probably not going to be an option. Unless you're fortunate enough, I mean, you can land one of the old school type mowers, the ones I'm talking about. You see in the old movies where they just push it and the blades turn. I mean, those are still around. That's not unheard of. If you can get one of those and you want to, great, but gasoline weed eaters, lawnmowers, chainsaws, I mean, that's probably going to be a thing of the past if this, when this stuff actually goes down. So just ask yourself, what types of things that you're going to want to pursue, basically. If you already have, like I said, if you already have farm animals and, that's the route you're going to go, well, you got to think and come up with some way that you're going to have to add shelter, most likely, for these animals. Okay. like a SHTF situation from where I'm at right now, if we was forced into this with no electricity, no this, no that, I have a 24 by 32 foot garage that will basically be rendered useless as far as being a wood shop and stuff that I'm trying to do in there now. So that will probably, if I, as I do get my goats and chickens, and it's possible that will be converted into more of a barn. I can have a lot of animals in that area, just stuff like that. I mean, it's not just about tools, it's about the plan too. But you're going to want to gather the tools that go with the idea of the direction you want to go after all this has collapsed. Up here, to me, that makes sense, and I hope it makes sense to you. But I think that's really, I'll just kind of leave it at that. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of things, like he didn't say nothing about this and this and this and this, and I know that, but please, by all means, put it in the comments, because, like I said, everybody's going to be different. That's just the way it is. Because me personally, I have post hole diggers, shovels, rakes, axes. That stuff I've just accumulated over the years. But I know the grid goes down, SHTF, economic, whatever it is that finally puts an end to our everyday living. I know all those tools are going to come in handy. One thing I can tell you now, that Lord have mercy, if you can afford it to stockpile it, you're a lot better off than I am. But if you have a dry place to keep it, and you can stockpile like 2x4s, 2x6s, maybe even some plywood, I mean, that stuff will be golden. People are going to need that stuff. And the price on that is already getting crazy high. So, even if it's just like 2x4s, if you can afford to go buy, 30 to 40 2x4s and just stack them in the back of your barn, or, in your garage somewhere, you know what I mean? Just any lumber that you can accumulate now is definitely going to come in handy later. Even like with metal roofing and stuff too. If you can get your hand, like if somebody's just throwing it away, take it home and store it somewhere. I mean, that stuff's going to come in handy. Building materials are going to be sought after. So that's just my personal opinion. Nobody else might think that way. I want to throw that out there too. This stuff is my opinions. I'm not going off the internet. I'm not reading a list. This is just stuff I'm thinking of right now. Okay, guys. But man, it's already been a half hour. I'm sorry, guys. If you're still here, thank you. That's the bad thing about me not having notes, is because I just ramble, and whatever pops in my head, I tell you guys. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And like I said, please leave it in the comments. Anything else you guys want to add to it. And I know there's things that I didn't cover, and that's fine. I'm just, like I said, you got to think for yourself on a lot of things. I mean, us guys and ladies that do these channels, every one of us have different opinions. Look at, like, me and Graham just done that bug out bag thing yesterday, or day before yesterday. That was, we had a lot of the same items, same ideas, but there's a lot of things that each of us didn't have, and we knew that going into it. That's just how people are different. And that's what makes it so nice to do stuff like that, just so we can convey to people who are just starting out that we're not the gurus. We don't know everything about prepping. We don't know exactly what you're going to need. Only you know that. Okay? I can't express that enough either. We don't know you. We know you, but we don't know your every need. We don't know what direction you're going, after all this collapses. Are you just going to try to thrive on the food that you have stored? Or are you going to try to farm? Or, it's up in the air. So it's definitely going to be tailored to each individual. So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I try to make sense, but and I didn't forget about the let me tell you what I did. Just real quick. I'm sorry I've kept you guys here this long. I got my chicken coop cleaned out. Got good video, good footage of that. And then I started my water catchment system. This is where I get stupid, okay? I get the top all cut out. I get my little spigot all installed in the bottom, Got good video content of this, alright? I go to check it tonight to make sure my waterproofing, the seal and stuff around the spigot had set up. It's like, cool, this is really solid, man. This is going to work. I did good. Went to turn the spigot. Yeah, it's too short. And by too short, I mean, it don't stick out away from the barrel far enough. So when I went to turn the spigot, it's like click, click, click. It's too close to the barrel. You can't turn the spigot on or off. So, trial and error, guys. Just another point that, we're not perfect. So I'm going to have to go back to Home Depot, buy a bigger spigot that sticks out farther, and continue with that. That's why I didn't have my water catchment and chicken coop video up today. So you guys know I'm not above telling you when I mess up. Even I didn't have to tell you that because I sure ain't gonna show you the video of that. But I don't care to share that I'm not perfect. I screw up. That's part of it. That's life. So anyway, guys, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. I don't think there's anything like extra going on this week. Therapy Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, oh yeah, there's a giveaway this Saturday. I'm sorry about that video today that I was showing pictures and stuff. I don't know what happened with that. I made the video on my phone. I don't know why the pictures were so huge that you couldn't see what was going on. But I did change up the prizes a little bit. I don't know if anybody had noticed. I took the K-Bar fork and knife set out because I didn't realize they were just hard plastic. And I don't feel comfortable sending something out to you guys to possibly survive with that is made of plastic. Not something like that anyway. So I was giving away 3 sets of those. So I've replaced those gifts or those prizes. One of the replacements was a emergency kit that has a splint, the cutting shears, and a tourniquet. That's one of the replacements. The other is an emergency tent, a really nice emergency tent. And the third prize was that I exchanged. Guys, I can't think of it right now. I can't think. I'm sorry. You'll have to go back and look at the video. But I did add like a grand prize. So, and like I said before, you won't know what you're playing for. I'll give the clue or the question. Whoever answers first wins, and then I will reveal what you've won. Okay? I'm going to come up with a better system so you can't, I don't want nobody thinking just because so-and-so won that I gave them less of a prize. It's not going to be like that, I promise. I will come up with some way, like, I'll number each prize, okay? And then whoever wins, I'll have them pick a number, excluding the grand prize, okay? So you'll pick prize 1 through 6. Whatever number you pick, that's the prize. And I will put it on there with like black Sharpie or something, so there's no doubt that you won what you picked, okay? That's the fairest way I can think to do it. The fact for tonight is, the random fact, let me think real quick. I almost forgot again. So I didn't have I'll give you an easy one. Elvis Presley is my favorite singer. Elvis Presley is my favorite singer. That is fact number 5, 6. Let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's 7 or 8. Dang. I don't have my notebook. I'll have to look. But, and then just to be fair, Thursday night on the live stream, I will go over each clue again. Okay? Just to be fair, I don't want, if somebody, especially like I got new subscribers that just showed up last night on my live stream, okay? I want them to have a fair chance too without having to find time to go back and watch a whole week's worth of videos, okay? So that's the only fair way I can think of to do that. And again, Thursday, somebody please remind me to do that or I will forget. But I will give the facts Thursday night. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys go now. Until tomorrow, God bless y'all. I love each and every one of you. Papa Prepper out.